And we're doing another take. I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to do these videos, yo. This is ridiculous. Hey y'all, it's your girl NASB and welcome to NASMAS 2018. This year for NASMAS, I'll be giving you guys in total 13 videos. It will be one video every other day from the beginning of December up until and including Christmas. And with each video, I'll be including a cocktail. Today's cocktail is a white Christmas sangria. You guys will see from the footage I add at the end of me making it that it's actually not white, and it's not just because it's in a green tinted glass. But what are you gonna do? I will include the original recipe down below, as well as I mentioned just now, footage of me making it, and you can feel free to try it if you want. So remember to stay tuned. So Mercury Retrograde tried your girl, and my camera shut off the first time that I made this video. Well, it's not this video purely, but my very first NASMAS video. And I really thought about scrapping it, but my friends talked me out of it. And so now I'm here with my second attempt. Initially, I was gonna give you guys Christmas related topics, and that included giving you reviews of those original Christmas rom-com movies. You know, Hallmark is famous for them. Netflix is getting into the game now. So after I did my first video, which was me sharing with you guys my favorite Christmas songs, I just want you guys to know, your girl was cutting it up. I really enjoyed that video. But as I said, the camera stopped recording, and I'm not doing it again. But one of the topics was to review those movies. And so I watched one of those movies, which you will see in the second video. Fingers crossed. Fun fact, the camera also stopped recording for that video. Yeah, I realized that it stopped within the hour though, so I was able to do a re-recording. For the first video, however, I didn't realize until I went to edit it. And so after I'd done the second video, I was like, hey, maybe what I should do is scrap the rest of these topics and review bad, but actually the quotes are needed, but all of them won't be, but bad Christmas rom-coms. And so me, being the millennial that I am, consulted the group chat, and this is what I was told.
As long as Die Hard is on that list of movies to review, I support you.
We stand a supportive friend. What's funny about Die Hard being mentioned though is that one of my topics was going to be my favorite Christmas movies. Die Hard isn't one of them, don't come for me. But I was going to make a joke about it because there's this whole thing as to whether or not it's a Christmas movie. I now plan to review Die Hard, but at the time that I got this message, and literally before a couple hours ago, I had never watched Die Hard in full. Yeah, that's my confession. I'm keeping it real. I hope you guys stick with me now that I tell you that I have watched it. And in that video, I'll give you my opinion as to whether or not it's a Christmas movie. But because of that, I was like, all right, so maybe I won't just do the original rom-coms based around Christmas. And it's actually a good thing because now having watched two of them, I don't know if I could do this back to back to back, you guys. With all that said, today I will be reviewing Netflix's The Christmas Wedding Planner. That movie, the best thing about it, or the best things about it, was Lily Vanderwoodson being in it and Joey Fatone. Now, I'm not saying that either performance was particularly great, especially Joey's, but I do remember watching it and thinking that I could see him as the lead of one of these kinds of movies. He was alright. He was alright enough. He was passable. He was the best performance of the males in this movie. And I just want to say, it's not saying a lot, because what were they doing? That lead romantic interest? Terrible. Just terrible. Were they filmed in this movie line by line? Do they even care for any kind of chemistry between these actors? Because honestly, it's a love story. We need to at least believe it. I'm flabbergasted that nobody was like, hey, maybe these two should look like they at least like each other. They didn't look like they hated each other, but I felt nothing. Just nothing Oh my gosh. So the plot of this movie is that Kelsey is a wedding planner. This is her very first wedding. It's a big wedding, and it happens to be for a family member. I think they say it's her cousin, but then at the end she calls the girl her sister. She also calls her best friend, even though it's weird because there are a couple of things that she didn't know about her life, and I was like, how is that your best friend and you don't know? But we'll just go with it being the cousin, sister, best friend, whatever, right? And I think her name is Emily. Emily. There's a scene where one of the characters says that, and it's really funny to me, but it might be one of those inside jokes that only Jamaicans can get. So she has to plan this wedding, and it's her first big one, as I said, and of course she meets the guy who is the romantic interest, and they don't exactly have the very best first meet. At some party later, she finds out he's the ex of Kelsey, and they're like, why is he here? Is he still carrying feelings? Is he trying to ruin it? And we apparently think he's just a terrible guy because he just left Kelsey, blah blah blah, but Kelsey claims she's over it. She has this new guy, she's so in love, everything is great. We then find out that lead guy is a PI. I just want you guys to know he's the worst private investigator ever. Ever. He was so obvious with certain things, and he wasn't funny. He didn't come off as serious. He didn't come off as mysterious. He didn't come off as professional. He didn't come off as capable of anything except literally uttering words. And it would be like, hey, so I guess this is a thing you're doing. Oh, you think this is a thing I'm doing? What the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? I am now more convinced than ever that there is a awkward ear or a silence quota and a limited amount of words that these movies can include, because this is the second movie that I'm watching of this season. I just clearly can't remember other ones that I've watched, and I think they probably killed my brain cells in the process of watching them. But it has to be intentional at this point, because no one can think that people talk to each other like that constantly. And I hated that the montage that they gave us that was clearly supposed to be, oh, this is them falling in love, it was so weak. They didn't even try. They're in a truck, they're spying on the groom-to-be because apparently that's what he was hired to do. And you know, it really bugged me that they only had one pair of binoculars in it, and he'd have it and he'd be like, oh my god, look what he's doing, and he handed it to her and nothing would be happening. And so I was like, what the hell is this? And then we see them dancing together, and it's like, oh my god, they're falling in love. But they give us that for like 3 seconds, and you can do that with strangers on a bus or any other form of public transportation. That doesn't mean you're falling in love. They give us no kind of substance, and I am just like, why am I here? Why are you here? And then they had the opportunity, like when she fell asleep, to have him do something sweet. Just anything. And what does he do? He beeps the horn to wake her up, because clearly he's a child. Oh god, I was so over it. So when we get to the end where he proposes, and yes, he proposes. I don't know if they'd known each other even a week. And she says that we barely know each other. But then right after that, she says yes, and they do get married. And I was like, you guys have got to be kidding me. And then I realized homeboy was like, I mean, I guess maybe I could get married to her, but I do not want to come out of pocket and pay for this wedding, and clearly you guys aren't using it. So it was legitimately one of those, so are you guys you're gonna finish this? Or, and just when I thought that I had written this entire show off as just plain bad, it gets scandalous. Proper Days of Our Lives. And I don't know if you watching this are as cultured as I am. I hope you are. I hope you're hip to one of the best forms of entertainment in the history of humanity, and that is soap operas. And if you are, then you know about Days of Our Lives. Personally, Young and the Restless was more my speed, but we all knew that Days of Our Lives was like up there for being scandalous, for like keeping his foot on your neck. Stefano did not give Marlena room to breathe. So they're at the wedding, and the big scandal is that the groom got the maid pregnant his parents made pregnant, and then he tried to hide it. They got her fired or some ish, whatever. And of course, there is the convenient moment of inconvenient finding out about this, and the lead breaks in the wedding, and oh my god, is he here for the bride? Were we right all along? And no, we weren't right. It was like one of those plot twists that I saw coming, and the wedding is ruined. Never mind that sis, that is the bride, is barely broken up. I was like, this is your wedding day. You just found out that your groom, who you were saying was so great and the love of your life, is an utter trash bag. He got another woman pregnant. He tried to hide it. And you found out all of this in front of so many people, a lot of them who you care about, and you're like unfazed. But more than that, you know what really bugged me? So I need to mention that sis's wedding dress was ugly. And if you happen to be like the designer and watching this, I apologize, but honey, that dress was not the look. I legit thought that, oh, this is gonna be one of those things where we try out a lot of ugly dresses till we get to the right one. But no, the first dress that she put on, that was like, yeah, that's the one she picked. I can't believe it. But that dress doesn't have sleeves, and her legs were out when she was sitting. In this Christmas season where it is cold, homegirl is outside without a jacket, with no stockings on, and she is not shivering at all. To make matters worse, the lead comes out to talk to her, and she has on a jacket. And I'm just like, was nobody watching this? Was nobody like, hey, this looks off? Like, it's one thing if she was by herself, but somebody else is out there and they're cold. And I have chosen to ignore that terrible use of the green screen and that scene. I've chosen to ignore that. Just like I've chosen to ignore that they have Lily Vanderwoodson drinking from an empty-ass teacup in like 70% of her scenes. She deserved better. I'm not expecting these movies to be tearjerkers. I'm really not. But I want to feel something besides confusion and irritation. And that's why I'm really glad that I'm gonna break these up with movies that are better. Don't get me wrong. If Hallmark, Netflix, or any one of these other channels, platforms, networks decides to call me and say, hey girl, we got a job for you, we want you to write one of these or work on it in some way, and they got a good check, please believe me, you're gonna see my name in the credits. And I'm telling you guys this, so if that ever happens, you don't come back to this video and then like at me with it or whatever we're using. I don't know if we'll be like still hot with the Twitter at the time, but I just don't want you guys to come and be like, yo Nas, what's up? You know what's up. Capitalism is what's up. Capitalism is actually, I'm sure, the reason why these actors and the writers and whoever else sign on for these things. And it may not be for me as a watcher, but it is for somebody, and it is for a lot of somebodies. It is for a demographic that loves it, and I am all here and in support of people watching something that they enjoy that is not hurtful. A lot of them say that these movies are so bad that they're good. I'm not exactly there with the second part with the second part of that, but it's not for me, and that's fine. It's not my cup of tea, it's not my glass of wine. Anyways, I think that more or less covers it for my review. Would I recommend this movie? If this is your taste, then yes. If you are expecting a proper romantic comedy or whatever, no, unless you are under the influence of something. I think you need something to watch these if it's not usually your kind of thing. As usual, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you want to know when I send out that good content in the future. And share it all over and tell people how good it is. If you don't think this is good, then I guess you don't have to share. Remember to stay tuned to see how I made this, and feel free to try doing it yourself. In the comments below, I want you guys to tell me what's the worst rom-com you've watched. Extra points if it is based around Christmas, and let me know if you want me to watch and review it. And with that, I will see you next video.
Majestic.